Hey guys, so the main trailer of the Dragon's Blood series revealed a bunch of stuff to us. But in this video I'm going to talk about the part where Selemene is said to be the bad guy. Before we start this video, I want to say that the main trailer gave us more questions than it could answer. So some of the things that I'm going to say in this video might have a lot of loose ends. But I tried to piece them together as much as I can. And with that said, let's begin. In the trailer, Invoker says that Selemene is not what she seems like.
You serve Selemene.
She is my goddess.
You haven't the faintest idea whom you serve. The brightest lights cast the darkest shadows.
To understand this, let's back up a little bit and see the story they say to us.
1,000 years ago, deep in the night silver woods, Selemene left a gift for us in the temple, her magical lotuses.
Okay, this part says a lot of the interesting things. The first fact is that these lotuses are a gift from Selemene. So these flowers that are blooming in the river of the TI-10 map is an indication of the anime and probably not the Spectre Arcana. But in all seriousness, I think it's about time they release the Spectre Arcana though. But anyways, then she says something interesting.
So when he lays the flowers on the earth, she will return.
She says that when he places the lotus in the earth, she will return. So who is this he? Is it Invoker? Because we see him place the lotus on the ground and meditate. Well, to explain this, I gotta fire up a headcannon. So in the trailer, the narrator says,
"The lotuses of Mene."
Our true goddess lives in these lotuses.
And Selemene says,
There is only one goddess of the moon. Me.
which actually means she isn't the only goddess of the moon. I think there were originally two moon goddesses, one of which is Selemene, and let's call the other moon goddess Celestia. And there are multiple ways that the two moon goddesses might exist, and they are as follows. The first way is that Celestia and Selemene are like the yin and yang of the moon deities. In this case, they might be just two moon goddesses that represents the new and the full moon, the dark and the light moon. The second way is that these two goddesses are the goddesses of these two moons shown here. One of it is the mad moon, the other one is the regular one. Although which goddess represents which moon is confusing. Because on one hand, Selemene can be the mad moon goddess who came here and enslaved the normal moon goddess Celestia, so that there's only one moon goddess. On the other hand, Celestia might be the mad moon goddess who shattered with the mad moon and became these lotuses when she fell or something. Speaking of shattering, could this also be related to Terrorblade shattering the mirrors of Foulfell to escape along with his first self or the metamorphosis form? I say this because Terrorblade is confirmed to be in this series, and if you guys remember, the last cavern crawl we had the two areas Night Silver Woods and Foulfell. Could this also be connected to that? I think yes, because Davion has some voice lines towards Terrorblade in Dota Underlords, and they seem to indicate that he did something very wrong.
I've been waiting for this, Terrorblade. You will answer for what you did, Terrorblade.
What if Selemene is the verse self of the moon deity that split from the original Celestia and somehow shattered and trapped Celestia in the lotuses? Maybe this is a possibility. Either way, Selemene might be the dark side because her order is called the Dark Moon Order. And if you think about it, both of her followers' ultimates, Moonlight Shadow and Eclipse, seems to actually be related to the darkness of the moon than the light itself. Celestia, on the other hand, is what I think is the light side of the moon. And the fragments of her souls are in these lotuses, and Selemene doesn't want her to be reassembled again, so she hid them inside the temple and said that it's a sacred gift from her so that nobody would try to get it out of the temple. Which all points to the fact that Celestia does indeed live in these lotuses. This is why Drycy tries to free her goddess by stealing the lotus. So who is Drycy? Well, since Drycy seems to be on the opposite side of Selemene, I think she must be from the Dark Moon Horde, which is a division that despises the followers of the Dark Moon Order. I know it's confusing that both these fractions have the Dark Moon part in their names. I mean, even Pango says that it's confusing.
Let me get this straight. You named your group after the thing you fight to stop. Does that not get confusing?
So let's call this Dark Moon Horde the Celestia's Order and the Dark Moon Order as Selemene's Order. So I think the reason why Celestia's Order fights against the Selemene's Order is because Selemene is trying to keep Celestia imprisoned forever. Anyway, Drycy sneaks into the temple by changing her face, and she successfully escapes with one of the lotuses by confusing Mirana with her illusions. And she takes this lotus to Invoker. But why Invoker specifically? Well, I think the reason is because Invoker might be the leader of Celestia's Order. Why do I say this? Well, if you guys remember, Invoker was the final boss of the Dark Moon event, and I think the Dark Moon event is also related to this anime, just like that cavern crawl. I know it's kinda strange because as far as we know, Invoker doesn't care about gods and other stuff like that. But for the sake of this video, let's just go with it. Anyways, he says,
Stories are stories.
this might refer to the story of Celestia being trapped in the lotuses, ready to be freed. Then he also says this.
Dead is dead.
So this indicates that Celestia might be dead. Well, it seems like she is dead, but meanwhile Selemene arrives on Earth, all furious when one of the lotuses was stolen.
The goddess of the moon is going to war.
This leads me to believe that maybe Celestia might not be dead like Invoker thinks, but she indeed lives in these lotuses. Because Selemene seems to be dead serious about going to war just to retrieve a single measly flower. So I think the reason why the prophecy says that she will return when the lotus was placed on the earth might be because she, aka Selemene, will return to stop him, aka Invoker, from setting Celestia free by taking the lotus out of the pond of the temple, which is Celestia's prison, and placing it on the earth and performing this ritual shown here to release her soul. So could this scene be showing a fragment of Celestia's soul coming out of Invoker and warning him about the hidden army thing? Does Invoker have some kind of special connection with Celestia? I don't really know, but this would explain why Invoker isn't successful in bringing back Celestia, because all of the lotuses should be reassembled to bring back Celestia, not only one like shown here. Which could be the reason why in the Dark Moon event, Celestia's order attacks Selemene's temple, because this is where they keep the lotuses or the fragments of Celestia captive. So I think the Dark Moon event is gonna happen in this series. And this battle is mentioned in Pangolia's voice lines towards Mirana.
I have heard tales of a grand battle in the Art of Night Silver. Pity to have missed it.
But in the Dark Moon event, they say the Dark Moon Horde are the bad guys. So what's going on here? Who is really the bad guy? Sure, Invoker says that Selemene is the bad guy from the get-go. But does it mean we should really believe him? Because if there's one thing that we learned from Among Us, is that we shouldn't trust anyone.
What are you talking about?
I know that you are the third man in Vortex.
No, Johnny. You are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
So for all we know, Invoker might be the bad guy trying to frame Selemene. So is Selemene the bad goddess who is trying to stop the good goddess Celestia from being free? Or is Invoker trying to unleash the bad goddess Celestia by saying Selemene is the bad goddess? I really don't know who the bad guy here is, but Invoker seems pretty sus. Because why would Invoker, a guy who never cares about gods and stuff like that, be the supposed leader of Celestia's order? Well, I think the reason is because Invoker's godlike powers might be linked to the goddess Celestia. Why do I say this? Well, in the trailer we see the symbol here that Selemene conjures, and it looks a lot like the inverse version of Invoker's invoke spell icon. What if the knowledge and ability to invoke 10 different spells by combining 3 regions Quasvex Exhort comes from Celestia? Because we also see 3 other orbs in this scene. Could this be the 3 regions of Selemene? The 3 regions that Invoker cannot utilize because these 3 regions belong to Selemene. I think there were originally 6 orbs, because here we see Selemene conjure some kind of Doctor Strange like shield with a hexagonal shape with 6 slots. Maybe these 6 slots are for the 6 orbs. I know it's a stretch, but it would explain why no other hero in game does what Invoker does and have access to 10 different spells. And in the trailer, it says that Selemene left these lotuses 1,000 years ago, and Invoker is supposedly immortal. So he may have known Celestia before she was trapped in the lotuses. This would also explain why the prophecy states that when he places the lotuses on the earth, she will return. And this he might refer to Invoker, who is Celestia's friend, and she might actually refer to Celestia herself. But wait, it gets weirder. This is a headcanon on top of another headcanon, so prepare yourself. Do you guys want to know why I called her Celestia all this time? Well, that is because I think Celestia might be a new hero coming to Dota and is based on the old removed hero back from Dota 1, named Celeste of Silver Moon, the Purity's disciple. I say this because of 4 reasons. The first reason is that in patch 7.28, they have shown that they have the intentions of bringing back all removed stuff back into Dota. Because they brought back a bunch of all removed spells back into the game as Scepter Shard upgrades and ability reworks. The second reason is that her name is Celeste of Silver Moon, which is very similar to the name Night Silverwoods, where she is now kept captive. The third reason is her title is Purity's disciple, and she basically had these powers: purification of Omni-Knight, chakra magic from Kotl, teleportation from Nature's Prophet, and the AoE purge of the Storm Panda. So she had spells that now belong to a follower of the Omniscience, the Light Fundamental, a being that sprouted from the Nature Goddess, and an aspect of a Celestial. I wonder if she's the Omniscience. But anyways, as you can see, her spells made her the ultimate support hero, and an overall good character who would help everyone, which would also explain why she would help Invoker. She also matches the description of a good goddess with all light and hope powers, with literally no way to defend herself from Selemene. The fourth and the final reason is because this hero used the sorceress model back in Dota 1. And back in the old days of Dota 1, the hero slayer used Kael's model and was named Link Inverse. Yes, Lina was originally a man, but when Celeste was removed from the game, the sorceress model got repurposed into the Slayer hero, and Link Inverse became Lina Inverse we know today, and Kael's model was later used for the Invoker hero. This would explain the connection between Celeste of Silvermoon and Invoker, because in a way, the Invoker that we know today wouldn't have existed if Celeste wasn't removed from the game. Or in this case, if Celeste wasn't defeated and trapped in the lotuses. So this might be the reason why Invoker is helping to bring back Celeste, because she is the reason why he is one of the most renowned sorcerers in the Dota universe. What's more is that Lina dropped her second name Inverse after coming to Dota. So what if Selemene is the inverse version of Celeste of Silvermoon? So Selemene might actually be the worst self of Celeste of Silvermoon, and this would tie her back to that Terrorblade Shattering Foulfell Mirrors theory that I made earlier. And if you take both of their names, Selemene Inverse and Celeste Silvermoon, they almost seem to be anagrams of each other. So there's a possibility that both of their names might be tweaked to be anagrams of each other. So yeah, I rest my case. So as you can see, this all removed hero Celeste of Silvermoon might be the other moon goddess that is trapped inside these lotuses. So my guess is that she will come as a hero, probably with Selemene, in an update themed around the moon, with this year's spring event and the Spectre Arcana around the same time as the anime release. She also has the chance of being Mars's lover mentioned in his unused voice lines, because according to the Greek myth, Mars's lover is Aphrodite. I know she is the goddess of love and not the moon, but Aphrodite is sometimes linked to the moon, and there are instances that she is referred to as the goddess of the dawn. She is also linked to the real Greek goddess of the moon, Selene, who is the goddess that Selemene is based on. And if you look at Celeste's abilities, all of her abilities do the same thing, and that is helping her teammates, which sounds a lot like a loving moon goddess to me. Plus, on top of that, Mars really seems to hate Selemene and says this to Mirana and Luna.
You chose the wrong god, princess. There's no pleasure in the killing of sheep. Your mistress is next.
This might be because Selemene trapped his lover in these lotuses, which also might be the reason why he says this.
Together again. This time will be different, I promise. Where does the time go, my dear? You've been away too long.
So as you guys can see, Valve has been building up to this anime from a long time ago, because this anime seems to be connected to the Dark Moon event, the cavern crawl that features Night Silver and Foulfell, and the TI-10 map blooming these flowers in the river. This leads me to believe that maybe all of this was supposed to happen last year, on or after TI, but since TI got cancelled, I think they are now slowly releasing the content that was originally supposed to be released all at once to keep us engaged till they host the TI-10 and release the Great Confluence update. You will understand what I'm talking about if you watch the Messenger Hoodwink video that I did a while back. So go check it out if you like. And that's it for this video. I know you guys have a lot of questions, like what is really the hidden army, and where does Terrorblade fit into all this? Is Drycy a new hero with face changing and illusion generating powers? Could she also be Invoker's daughter that is mentioned in the Anti-Mage persona?
I take no joy in killing a father.
I mean, she could be Invoker's daughter because they work together and they both have elf-like ears and blonde hair. But I guess we'll get the answers for these questions in the anime. So let's just wait for the series to answer all these questions for us. I was actually thinking about making another video about a theory that I came up with about the anime. But unfortunately I have some work piling up from university, so I don't think that I can make another video before the anime comes out. But it can't be helped, I guess. So I'm kinda sad because if that theory actually comes true, I won't get any credit for it. So I'm gonna give you guys a hint about my theory, so that maybe I'll get even a small credit if it actually happens in the series. So the hint is, I think Caden is a bad guy with a hidden intention related to power. And with that said, I probably won't be posting any videos for like a month, so I'm really sorry for that. But let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments below. I love reading all of your comments and it motivates me to make more videos, so I sincerely thank you guys for your continued support. And with that said, don't forget to like, share and subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.